I never thought my life would involve editing my own heartbreak into a commercial novel. Honestly, who does that? Yet here I was, staring at my ex-boyfriend's draft like it was a ticking time bomb, each word reminding me why we broke up and why I still couldn't stop thinking about him. The first line hit me like a sucker punch. He didn't know how much I loved him until he walked away. Yeah, thanks for the emotional ambush, Derek. I snorted, but it came out more like a choked laugh, the kind that hides a little too much pain. I was used to chaos, but this was next level. My phone buzzed with a text from my roommate, Cass, asking if I was still alive in the mess of drafts I called my living room. I ignored it. I couldn't explain that the chaos was both literal and emotional. Papers littered the floor like confetti from a party I hadn't been invited to. Then he appeared in the doorway, not Derek, thank God, but Alex, my co-editor. Alex had this effortless way of walking into a room and making you forget the sun had set hours ago. He was leaning against the frame, arms crossed, one eyebrow raised in that infuriatingly knowing way. "You're not crying over this, are you?" His voice was teasing, soft, almost conspiratorial. I waved him off, but Alex didn't move. Instead, he stepped in, his shoulder brushing mine as he plopped onto the couch beside me. Close. Too close. My chest betrayed me with a flutter that had nothing to do with caffeine. "It's just, someone's ex turned my life into literature," I muttered, shoving a page at him. He scanned it with exaggerated seriousness, lips twitching into a smile. Emotional sabotage. Very subtle. I rolled my eyes, pretending I didn't notice the warmth spreading through my chest at the mere sound of him laughing. Alex always had that effect, like he could bend reality with a smirk. Hours passed in a blur of annotations, cups of cold coffee, and stolen glances. Every time my hand brushed his as we passed papers back and forth, my stomach did that ridiculous twist that I secretly loved. And Alex didn't seem to mind at all. He leaned closer when I whispered questions, fingers occasionally brushing mine. A brush of contact that left sparks lingering longer than they had any right to. "You think he really felt that way about you?" Alex asked suddenly, voice low, almost private. He wasn't pointing at Derek, but at Meme, the supposedly hardened ex. My heart thudded because even though I'd been the one who ended things, I couldn't lie. Yes, Derek had mattered. He had mattered more than I wanted to admit. "Does it matter?" I muttered, eyes darting to the manuscript like it held all the answers I'd been avoiding. Alex didn't answer immediately. He just leaned back, letting his shoulder graze mine, the touch casual, intimate, the kind of contact that made your mind scramble for words it didn't have. "You're too hard on yourself," he finally said. "Maybe the story. Maybe you're more involved than you think." I snorted again, but it came out softer this time. Alex's gaze was impossible to resist, warm and teasing, like he was both daring me and protecting me at the same time. My thoughts spiraled. Editing a story about my heartbreak had never felt like this, like standing on the edge of something thrilling, terrifying, and maybe beautiful. We worked in silence for a while, the only sounds the scratching of pens, the click of my laptop, and the occasional sigh that could have meant anything. And then, inevitably, our hands touched again while reaching for the same page, lingering a beat too long. My breath hitched. Alex didn't pull away. Instead, he let his thumb brush across mine, slow, deliberate, like he knew exactly what he was doing. "Do you want to take a break?" His voice was softer now, almost intimate, and my head swiveled to meet his eyes. I nodded, words failing me, because yes, I wanted a break, but not from him. From the tension, the manuscript, the memories. Alex just smiled, that crooked, infuriatingly perfect smile, and moved a fraction closer. It was ridiculous, surreal, and yet undeniably thrilling. We ended up on the small balcony. The city lights sprawled beneath us like a constellation we could almost touch. The air was crisp, carrying a faint scent of rain from earlier, and for a moment, it felt like the world had shrunk just to include the two of us. Alex leaned against the railing, eyes on mine, and there was a softness there that made my chest ache in the best way. "You know," he said, voice low, "editing this story, it's not just about him." I frowned, confused. What do you mean? He smiled, that crooked smile that made my knees threaten to betray me. It's about us, too. The way you care. The way you avoid it, fight it, and yet, here we are. My throat went dry, and I looked down at my hands. I'm not. I don't, you do. He interrupted gently, stepping closer. So close I could feel the heat from his body. I see it in every glance you give, every pause when our hands touch. You're terrified of being vulnerable again, but I don't care. I like seeing you like this. The words hit me like sunlight breaking through clouds. Vulnerable, terrified, open. And for the first time in weeks, maybe months, I felt safe admitting him to myself. Before I could say anything, Alex reached out, tucking a strand of hair behind my ear with a gentleness that made my heart stutter. So, are we going to pretend this is just editing? His smile was teasing, but his eyes were serious, warm. I swallowed, heart hammering. No, I whispered. Not pretending anymore. He laughed softly, a sound that seemed to fill the empty space around us. And then, without another word, he leaned in, brushing his lips against mine. It was a light, tentative kiss at first, testing boundaries, exploring the new territory between us. My hands found his shoulders, anchoring myself as the world seemed to tilt slightly, perfectly, around this moment. When we pulled back, just slightly, our foreheads resting together, I could finally breathe. I don't know why I waited so long, I admitted, voice barely audible. Alex shook his head, still close, fingers brushing my jaw. Because you needed to write your story first. We laughed quietly, the tension melting, leaving only warmth and something heavier, deeper, something that promised connection without pressure, closeness without fear. For the first time since Derek's betrayal and the chaos of his novel, I felt truly present, truly alive. The night carried on, and we stayed on that balcony, talking about everything and nothing. We shared stories of past mistakes, embarrassing moments, dreams that seemed too big to voice. Each word, each laugh, each brush of skin was a thread weaving us together in a tapestry neither of us wanted to end. Eventually, Alex slipped his hand into mine, fingers intertwining naturally, like they had always belonged there. You know, he said softly, this is going to be our story now. Not his, not anyone else's. I looked at him, the city lights reflecting in his eyes, and felt a surge of emotion so strong I had to swallow it down. Our story, I echoed, and it tasted like freedom, like home. We stayed that way until the early hours, until the city quieted and only the hum of distant traffic remained. And when we finally went inside, it was without pretense, without hesitation. We moved through the apartment in a comfortable rhythm-making tea, laughing at a page that still had Derek's melodrama, sharing glances that carried promises of a new chapter, written together. Later, sitting side by side on the couch, Alex nudged me gently. Ready to finish the edits? He asked, half joking. I smiled, resting my head on his shoulder. Yeah, but this time we do it together. And we did. Every correction, every note, every late-night discussion became less about heartbreak and more about collaboration, trust, and unspoken affection. In turning someone else's messy emotions into a story, I discovered the real plot, the one that mattered. Us. By the time the manuscript was finally ready for submission, we had found our rhythm, our connection. Editing Derek's dramatic confessions had been a painful exercise in nostalgia, but it also had given me Alex. The irony wasn't lost on me. Love disguised as work, heartbreak disguised as fiction. When we sent the final draft off, Alex leaned back, stretching and smiling lazily. So what now? I looked at him, warmth spreading through my chest. Now, we write our own story. He grinned, eyes glinting with mischief and tenderness. I think I like the sound of that. And in that tiny, cluttered apartment in the heart of an American city, two boys who had survived heartbreak, awkward proximity, and the chaos of someone else's obsession found something undeniably theirs. A love that was messy, beautiful, and real. A love that was ours. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.